Welcome to Political Paradigm. I'm Terry Kumi. Let's take on a developing story, which is the recently concluded Rivers local government election. It's no news that 23 local government areas were won by 20 of the 23 local government areas were won by the All Progressives Congress, while the People's Democratic Party won the remaining 3 local governments, that's Obiakpo, Port Harcourt, and Ogba-Igbe-Mandoni. It's also notable that Governor Siminalayi Fubara lost his Opobonkoro local government to the APC. But what's news now is that all 23 chairmen have been sworn in by the sole administrator. And I'm now being joined by 2 of them. Dr. Chidi Lloyd is expected to join us. He is the chairman Emoha local government area on the platform of the APC. And we have Dr. Gift Walu, who is the chairman of Obiakpo local government area on the platform of the People's Democratic Party. Dr. Walu, welcome to Political Paradigm.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Let me begin by congratulating you on your emergence and swearing in. How's that been for you? What's the feeling for you?
It's really wonderful, and it's not a win for me, it's a win for my people of Obiakpo local government, and especially the people of Akpo section of the local government who have not had the opportunity of producing the chairman of the council since 1989 when the council was created. And we went around campaigning vigorously and telling our people what vision we have for our local government, which is that we need to come together as a people and work for our collective progress and shared future. And our people listened to us and voted for us overwhelmingly. And today, we are now called, instead of flag bearers, we're now called executive chairman of our local government. And that is very gratifying.
Oh, I can imagine. But then again, what's the mood of the people of Rivers State? I know you were with your colleagues today during the swearing-in, so I can imagine that you would understand the mood of the various local governments, Rivers State in general. You were in Port Harcourt earlier today. So talk to us about the mood in Rivers State. It's been 2 days or 3 now since after the elections. And now they have local government in place, considering the back and forth that had ensued in the past 1 year plus. Dr. Waller, did you get that? I'm asking about the mood of the people of Rivers State following the conclusion of this election and the emergence of local governments.
The declaration of state of emergency, state was at the brink. We were forgotten. There was a problem. And eventually, election was called.
This is not unexpected. I mean, network is always an issue when you have virtual conversations like this. But if you've just joined, we're trying to hold conversations with the chairman in Rivers State following the elections. We expect Dr. Chidi Lloyd, who is the chairman of Emoha local government area, to join this conversation. And I'm on with Dr. Gift Walu speaking on the situation in Rivers State now following the swearing in of the chairman by the sole administrator of Rivers State, Rear Admiral Ibokete Bass, retired. Dr. Walu, it's nice to have you back. We had some network challenge with your connection, but you're back now, and we will go on with the conversation. And let me ask the question again. You had talked about how elated you are, and the people of Akpo specifically, who now have local governments, who are no longer, who now have the opportunity to have a candidate as a local government chairman, their own son as a local government chairman. But I'm asking generally about the state of Rivers State in general, the mood of the people of Rivers State in general. Anyone who's followed the development in Rivers State knows that it's been tumultuous, I dare say that. And to an extent now, a lot of people are happy that this has been put to bed, at least to an extent. But let me ask you, what's the mood of the people in Rivers State following the swearing of the chairman? Because it was really quick. I mean, it was yesterday, 2 days ago, the results were announced, and 2 days after, they now have 23 local government chairmen. And I dare say that the people of Rivers State have it new, because this is a mix of the APC and the PDP compared to what they've always known. We're going to take a quick break to sort out the network challenge with Dr. Waldo. I'll be right back. Please stay with us. Political Paradigm. We'll be right back. The way you did, allow that rotation the way you did before. Well, welcome back. We now have Dr. Gift Walu. He is the chairman of Obiakwa Local Government Area. He has just been sworn in as the chairman. Doctor, just before that network challenge, I was asking you to give us the mood of the people of Rivers State, considering that you were in Port Harcourt today and you met with your colleagues. How are the people of Rivers State responding to having local governance in place?
Well, if you judge by the turnout of people during the election, which was very mammoth, we saw mammoth crowds in all the polling centers. And if you look at what happened yesterday during the issuance of certificate of return to the candidates that won, and of course the subsequent swearing in, the number of people who came out, and the jubilation that we saw across the states, in all the local governments, people celebrating with the winners and their chairmen and the councillors alike. You will agree with me that the people of Rivers State love democracy, and they are happy that there is finally a return to democracy as far as the top tier of government, which is closest to them, is concerned. Our people are very happy. Our people are very upbeat and excited about what is going on. And don't also forget that there is the rumor in the air that the governor of the state, who was suspended following the state of emergency, and the assembly members will be returning anytime soon. So everybody is happy that at last the crisis is over, and they are very thankful to the president of the country, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for that fatherly intervention that brought about the peace and eventual return to democracy. So for me, I think that Rivers people are very happy, and they look forward to what the chairman and the councillors will do to bring about the dividends of democracy, which is what this whole thing is all about.
All right, Dr. Wally, you talked about a number of things. We'll go on to the aspect of the governor and his return with the State Assembly, but then there have been mixed reactions that have trailed this election. A lot of them have been political, but I'd like us to first deal with the electoral process. You were part of this election. We saw you vote, and in voting, you spoke with journalists and you talked about the late arrival of materials, which you referred to as, I think you said, better late than never. That has been questioned with regard to how fairly this election was. And also, I know that Yaga Africa, which is a civil society organization that really advocates and pursues improvement in our electoral process, had talked about the non-use of beavers and has raised questions about the electoral process. What do you say to that?
I would say that given the time available for all of this and the circumstances in which we found ourselves, they said that all politics is local. What you saw on display was all kind of people some people not understanding because they have not tried to put in context what is going on. Fine, elections have come and they have gone. And I know that there are people who would not agree with the process, even if you did it with any kind of system. But what is important is that the people of Rivers State came out and based on the system that was made available, the process that was made available by the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, they have voted and the results have been counted and winners have emerged. And I don't think that anybody who contested that election did not know what the process was, and that is what is important. Some of the people who are now saying one thing or the other are people who did not subject themselves to the process, who probably did not think that the election will hold. And it is within their rights to think. But the truth is that we have had the election, people have voted, their votes have counted, and people have won. And like I said in that interview that you are making reference to, one of the things I said was that this victory is not for me as a person, it is for the people of Obiakpo local government. What is important now is for us to do what our people expect us to do, which is to deliver on our promises. And one of the promises I made to our people was that I'm going to be very close to them. I'll be a listening chairman. I want to know what their needs and wants are and how they even want it.
Very well.
And we will try our best, working together to see how we can make those things to happen.
Very well then, but while you dismiss concerns, especially regarding the beavers, the non-usage of the beavers, it led to quite a number of questions on the credibility of this election. And some are now pointing to the figures in Obiakpo local government area, where you emerged as chairman. Specifically, 328,000 votes were cast there. That's outrageous, isn't it? Considering that Obiakpo Council, as declared as INEC in the 2023 general elections, the total votes of PDP, Labour Party, and the APC put together at the presidential election was 495,000 plus, and the president, according to the INEC results, was about 80,000. So do you not think that people, that Yaga specifically, will be in their right to question the process, the fairness of this process, if you put those two figures together?
Like I said before, all politics is local. Now, what happened in Obiakpo local government area can be explained by the fact that, like I told you before, in Obiakpo is made up of the Obio and Akpo sections of the state. And for 30-something years, nobody from Akpo side of the divide has been made chairman of council. And when this opportunity was given, everybody in Akpo and everybody who knew me, because before now, I taught in the University of Port Harcourt, and I have touched lives. I've made people become something through the little talent that God gave to me. And people came out. If you watched my campaign, it was more than a presidential campaign. I don't know if you followed my campaign. I ran a very serious and robust campaign. and I talked to people about things that matter. And I made promises, and I can say that I was authentic in my delivery of my message to our people. And of course, because there was agreement between the Obio and our people on why this time around the upper side of the divide should produce the chairman. And of course, given the fact that a lot of political juggernauts, especially the turncoats, were not in the fray, there was relative peace in the place, and people were free to come out and vote. And they voted massively for us. So that is what you see there. In the presidential election of 2023 that we are making reference to, there was all kinds of fear on the part of people. Some people did not bother to come out for election because of the relative fear that they had about some untoward thing that might happen in the polling centers and all of that. But this time around, because the air was cleared, I can tell you, for example, that in my community, because of the love that my people have for me, there was a declaration of, apart from the announcement by the RISEC that there should not be movement on that day, it was declared that all shops and everybody, the market that was supposed to hold that day did not hold. People were asked to come out and support their own that is going to be the chairman of the council for the first time in history. And that is why you see that number. So I'm not surprised at the numbers, but I'm happy. I'm very happy that I enjoy this kind of support from my people. And I want to encourage them to keep it going forward. What is important for me is that it has become a motivation for me to know that if I do well, they will continue to push me even to higher heights. Maybe one day I'll become the president of Nigeria. Who knows?
Right, very well. But are you as excited as a PDP man? Are you happy with the outcome of the election where 23 APC candidates won and only 3 PDP candidates won? Are you happy with that result?
I am more concerned about what happened in my local government. I don't know what decisions people may have made in their own local in deciding which candidate to support or not. I ran under the PDP, and the PDP, my local government is the local government of the FCT minister, is the local government of the Speaker of the Rivers State General Assembly, is the local government of the minority leader of the Federal House of Representatives. It's also the local government of the chairman of the PDP in Rivers State. Yeah. With all these people behind me, there was no way we're not going to win. And
I completely understand that. Dr. Waller, I completely understand that. I'm asking this question because history had shown before now that the River State was a PDP state. We've always had PDP all through all the local governments. Now we have more APC. So as a party man, how do you feel about the PDP winning just 3 out of 23 local governments?
My attitude to politics is that I see politics more like football. Sometimes you win, and other times you lose. And there's nothing that is absolute, and there is nothing that is cast in iron. What is important for me always is not which party is in power. As an individual, I used to be in the APC, until 2020 when I moved to the PDP. And so if today, maybe gauging the tempo of the country, gauging the way things are going in the country, people have decided that maybe they should go the way of the APC. That's good and fine, but as you know, some people have also insisted that no matter what, they will remain in the PDP and make sure that the party succeeds. What is important is for the PDP to take this as a lesson and then go back to the drawing board, re-strategize, and then come back stronger and win. Of course, you can see what is happening to the PDP at the national level. That is enough to push people towards another direction. But my happiness is that in my local government, how people still believe in the PDP, perhaps because of the influence of these individuals that I talked to you about. Okay. So we didn't lose. River State has won. Our local government has won. Our people have won. What is important is for anybody who finds himself in position of authority to do what is expected of him or her so
Okay.
that our people will be happy.
All right.
It doesn't matter whether it is PDP or APC. What matters is the dignity of our people, is the delivery of the
Yeah.
dividends of democracy to the people.
But then again, that also raises the question of collaboration. So I want you to react to those who say that the peaceful nature of this election is due to the collaboration between the APC and the PDP. And those who say this point to the fact that it's unusual to have elections hold like this and not have the state party heads, raise questions about the credibility of the election. How do you react to this concerns around collaboration between the PDP and the APC? If it is it a good thing for the people of Rivers State?
Well, the people of Rivers State people, if you look at some of the things that have been said before now, for the many years that the PDP in Rivers State supported the government at the center, don't forget that until 2015, the PDP held sway, and Rivers State always won for the PDP. People have asked questions about what Rivers State benefited from the federal government. And in 2023, because of the wayo that they played our leader, who was then a presidential contestant, and during the primaries, Nigerians saw what happened when His Excellency Aminu Tambuwa and co ganged up against him and denied him the ticket of the party that he won, as far as I'm concerned. And then he made other attempts to see how the party could unite, asking that the then chairman of the party to relinquish his seat, and that seat should come to the southern part of the country, saying the North was going to produce the president if they won. And then there was this argument that it was not proper for a Northerner to continue after the former president, Buhari. And all those pleas and demands fell on deaf ears. And in anger, we all voted for the current president, who is not a PDP person. And since he became president, apart from appointing the former governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Ezenwoye Sowike, as a minister, and giving him all the support, he has appointed several Rivers sons and daughters into very important federal government offices, attracting dividends of democracy to the state. And there have been projects of the federal government, including the university in Ogoniland, attracted to our state. Unprecedented. It has never happened, even all those times that we were supporting the PDP. So that is enough for people to say, well, if we can get this much from a party, and ordinarily we did not subscribe to or ab initio, and if our leader can enjoy this kind of robust support from the president, why not? We have a rethink.
Okay.
And for me, I think that perhaps that's what's going on.
Okay, so does that suggest now that Rivers State is APC now?
It doesn't. It doesn't suggest that, because there's no state that is APC or PDP. Sometimes you have everywhere you have a mix. Everywhere you have a mix, because even in the last election, the 2023 election, Lagos State that was thought to be predominantly an APP, maybe the influence of Tinubu, in Lagos and all of that. He lost there. But that does not mean that Lagos is a PDP or Labour Party state. It is a function of what the people decided to do at that material time. So, and then since after that election, we have seen movements here and there. We have seen the likes of Jandor move over to the APC. It is a function of strategy. It's a function of people talking to people. And if eventually there's another election tomorrow and you see the APC win, it doesn't mean that the state belongs to APC. It's just that the APC won at that time. So what we have seen now, for me, is a kind of a feedback. People are reacting to the general environment in which they find themselves politically. And I believe that if the PDP is reasonable, what we need to do now is to go back to the drawing board and see how we can come back stronger for future elections. We need to rebuild from grounds up. I see a lot of cracks here and there. And it is for people to sit down and see how they can identify and plug those cracks.
All right, you had talked about how much time is left for the suspended governor and the assembly to return. And some had pointed to the possibility of peace in all this with the conclusion of this local government election. But that wasn't clear. We didn't see Governor Fubara come out to vote. And some say his supporters did not vote either. What does this mean for the peace process of Rivers State?
Well, you will expect that if the former governor did not come out to vote, that people will say one thing or the other. But the other thing is to find out why he did not come out to vote. Was he sick? Did he travel or something? It is for him to explain why he did not participate in the election. But what I know is that before the election, you have seen him go to places, attend functions with his embattled Oga. And then you have also seen him, say things that suggest that he's truly desirous of peace in the state. And he did not oppose the emergence of the flag bearer in his local government, both for his party and any other party. And I don't think that he has spoken against the outcome of the elections. So when people make speculations, we just take them as speculations because we're entitled to say whatever we like. And there are people who are also saying that they want to approach the courts and all of that. Well, it is within their rights to so do. But the truth of the matter is that whether you go to court or you don't go to court, there is a result that shows what the people of Rivers State want. When you go to court and you succeed, fine. If you go to court and you don't succeed, don't blame it on anybody. The truth of the matter is that there are a lot of people today, they graduated from law school yesterday night, and by this morning they're on television talking about law and how the judiciary has failed them and all of that. But some of them I will advise that they should take their time to understand the law, know what works and what doesn't, and to get ex parte injunction and all of that. And the court told them that they were wasting their time, So you cannot be approaching the court, wasting the time of the court, and maybe when you even go for the substantive matter, you don't have your arguments well laid out. And when you lose, you are looking for who to blame it on. That should not be the way to go.
Relationship that you envisage? Welcome back to Political Paradigm. Sincere apologies for that technical glitch. We've been speaking with one of the chairmen, the newly sworn-in chairman of Rivers State. Is the chairman of Obiakpo local government area, the local government that got the highest votes in the just concluded local government election, Dr. Gift Wallo. Doctor, I was asking, just before we had that situation, I was asking about the sort of working relationship that you expect the governor, when he returns, to have with the newly sworn-in chairman. For one, he did not conduct the election that brought them in, and two, he did not vote for them. And we also know the back and forth that ensued when the former chairman, the tenure of the former chairman had elapsed.
I expect to see a cordial relationship. I expect to see a focus on our people. Our people have suffered enough since the crisis up until now. Even with the intervention of administrators, but again, there's still some lacuna in terms of the people feeling completely that democracy is working for them. Rivers people are democratic people by nature. And now that there is a return to democratic rule, what you will expect is that we should show that we have learned our lessons, be it the hard way. We have learned our lessons. As an individual, I've learned my lessons. And then I believe that we can work together in spite of whatever, and to move our state forward, to move our people forward. That's what the people want. They don't want us to go fighting ourselves. In every gathering of people, you expect that there will be disagreement, but what matters is how it is handled. And I believe that as mature people, as excellencies and honorables that they call us, we should go there and show that we really understand what those things mean. And I believe, I'm supremely confident that what happened before is not likely to repeat. The people of Rivers State are watching, Nigerians are watching. I will be more concerned about what I do with my people in my local government than bother with any kind of disagreement with the state government. After all, today, the point of interface between the state and the local government is not all that much, because the functions of the local government are clearly spelled out, and the functions of the state government are all clear there for everybody to see. So what is important is for people to focus on the work that is before them and leave politics. When the time for politics comes, we'll play politics. But now, when we return, when he returns and we're going to be working together, we should focus on governance and leave politics for now.
Absolutely. That would make a lot of sense. But then I asked that question because some of the chairmen, the re-elected chairmen, were people who had disagreements with him as well. And now they're back into office. So also understanding, I'd like to understand if, the peace process is all-encompassing, if you were all-encompassed into this, because some are questioning whether this local government election as part of the peace process, does it consolidate the peace process for Rivers State to carry on for the good of the people?
Yes, I think so. I think so, because the disagreement was not personal, if you ask me. It was about a system that was going to suffer entropy. And some people standing up and saying, no, we shouldn't allow this, because after all, this is the system that made all of us. If we allow it to be destroyed, then we will have no shelter anywhere. That's what happened. So, like I said, we have learned our lessons. And for me, I've learned my lessons. I now know clearly. Don't forget that I was a commissioner that time, and I had to resign my office. And I thank God that I did, because I did so believing that it was better for me to work to protect that system than to destroy it. And that's what some of those chairmen also did. There were some chairmen who did not disagree with the government, and they have a right not to disagree with him. But those who disagreed did so on principle. The desire, the whole aim was to ensure that this system that brought all of us, that brought also the governor, was not destroyed. And we knew who wanted to destroy the system. It wasn't even the governor. If you have listened to our leader, the FCT minister, talk about this issue, you will agree with me that he has even mentioned names of those who wanted to destroy the system. These were people who did not support the idea of a Fubara governor. And then when he became governor, somehow they found their way into his system, his governance. And of course, as vampires, as enemies, they came in with all kinds of things. And at the end of the day, they caused the crisis that happened and made it look as if there was a serious disagreement between the father and the son. Thank God, the father has learned his lessons. The son, I believe, has learned his lessons. We too have learned our lessons. I may not speak so strongly about the other chairman, but I know for myself that I've learned my lessons. And what is important is for us now to act like reasonable people who have the interest of the people paramount in our minds. If it is not so, then maybe we will have problems again. But I am confident. I believe that with what I have seen, which a lot of people may not see because they don't enjoy the vantage position that I do, that there will be lasting peace, at least from now till the end of this first tenure. And like I said, this is the time for governance. When we get close to the end of the tenure and we start talking about politics and anything, and of course you will expect that even those of us who are here today, all of us will not be together by the time we're approaching the next election. So we will understand all of those as part of the dynamics of the game. Okay. But for now, what is important is to focus on that which is important and leave the things that are not important. The unity of our state, the progress of our state, the peace of our state, and making our people have reason, to live and to have hope, even in the face of the chaos, is what is important, to me as an individual.
All right, so they say that lessons must be learned so that history doesn't repeat itself. What's happened in Rivers State is a major concern for the people of Rivers State. I've heard a lot of people from Rivers State say that they failed to put their house in order, allowing a stranger to hedge the house. When you hear people from Rivers State speak like this, what comes to mind? In what areas do you think that the state failed? Because it would seem as though this peace process that you speak about is mainly among the political class.
Well, I don't know if you think that because people are politicians that they no longer belong to the state. That would not be correct. As far as I'm concerned, everybody who is a politician and who is a stakeholder in the Rivers project has, I want to believe that they have the best interest of the state at heart. And they did what they did, believing that they were right. But now we all know who was right and who was wrong. And if we are talking about a stranger, I will not subscribe to calling any Rivers person, even if it's not in my political party, or even if it does not share my political sentiment, a stranger.
No, I'm referring to the sole administrator.
Even the sole administrator is not a stranger in that sense, because he did not foist himself on Rivers people. He came, and I want to thank God that he came, because since he came, some of the things that we used to see before, we no longer see. And it's a lesson not only for Rivers people, it's a lesson for the whole of the country. Because I have argued before now that one of the problems we have in this country is that we have too many presidents. Most governors in Nigeria act as if they are presidents on their own. But there's one president and maybe 36 governors. And when people come to act in ways that show that they don't realize that we have one constitution and one president, and that there are certain things you cannot do. Listen, the Supreme Court in their judgment said that as it were at that time, that Rivers State did not have a government. That was the Supreme Court talking. And if you didn't have a government within the space called Nigeria, in Rivers State, there was no government. It calls for the president of the country to do something to make sure that there is government. Because if there is no government, it's like chasing away all the policemen, chasing away every security apparatus in the system, and allowing criminals to have a field day. And when you do that, the people will suffer. So you had a system in which somebody declared that the state assembly did not exist because he didn't want them to exist. He had a situation where court orders were not being obeyed. That's what we're talking about here. And he had a system where, at a point, we were told that there will not be money available for the local government and the state government to spend. And if we allow that to happen, can we think for a minute and imagine what would have happened in Rivers State by now if there was no state of emergency declared? And I want to thank the sole administrator, the Vice Admiral retired Abbas, for the good work that he has done and is still doing. Currently, there's something that is doing in our state, which we couldn't even do for ourselves. He's doing a review of the payroll of Rivers State and the local governments in it. And the figures that are coming out are quite revealing. So many ghost workers that is putting pressure on the system. So if you have money and use all of them to pay wages, where will the money to build infrastructures come from? Where will the money to think about any other kind of project that affect the people come from? Today we're facing, some kind of relative economic hardship. Where will the money to cushion that effect come from? And how do we give our people hope going forward? So these were the benefits that and more that we have achieved or enjoyed because of the state of emergency. So anybody who is still living in the past or who is thinking that that state of emergency was not the right thing to do, well, it is up to the person. But for me, I have always said, even from day one, it was the right thing. And I think that with what we have seen, I am vindicated.
I also remember that as a lecturer, it's clear that you're a lecturer at the University of Port Harcourt, that you had talked about the need for reconciliation among the political class in Rivers State.
Yes.
I don't know if that's in place or if that's something that's been concluded beyond the peace process, because you've raised concern. This was just about 2 years ago. Your concerns were more about the political situation in Rivers State, that the political climate was dangerous and there was a need for reconciliation among the political class.
Yes, I still believe in it because I believe that a people united cannot be defeated. And this was the slogan of my campaign. Although it was a local campaign, I wish I was contesting for the governor of Rivers State and I would have made Rivers people to understand that we must be united. We must come together to be able to defeat whatever confronts us. And there is nothing that can stand in our way if we are united. And I was telling our people that the real enemy is not the person in the other political party. No. It is not the person who is not an indigene of your state or your local government. No. It's not the man who travels from America or Europe or Asia to Nigeria. That's not your enemy. Your enemy is hunger. Your enemy is poverty. Your enemy is unemployment and all such things. Your enemy is disease. Your enemy is the fact that our children, so many of our children are out of school. And we need to sit down as a people and see these things as the real challenge. I don't have a problem with somebody disagreeing with me. And of course, at the benefit of my learning and experience as a teacher, what we do basically as teachers is to agree and disagree. If you're a lecturer who is not open to disagreement, you can't write academic papers because it is thesis, antithesis, and then you talk about synthesis. Synthesis is the resolution, is the reconciliation of differing ideas. So what our people need to do is to look beyond the things that divide us and begin to focus on the things that bring us together, because that's the only way. Even as a country, that's the only way. If you're a reasonable person, you cannot be bothered about the fact that.
Let me come in here. Let me ask you this question as a speaker about reconciliation and your people. I don't know how much the people of Rivers State have been carried along, and some have said that there is a need to have several town halls across the state for proper reconciliation to be consolidated beyond the politicians.
Yeah, I agree. I also agree with that, seriously. And this is one of the things that I have talked to my people about. I wish you were in Rivers State and followed my campaign, seriously. If you go on Facebook and other social media channels, you can follow some of my statements during the campaigns. I told our people that I will hold several town hall meetings. And this was when they were asking me, what do you want to do for the people? I said, no, it's not about me. The time has passed when we think that leaders or politicians have all the answers to all the problems. That time has come and gone. The proper thing to do today, and this is what works, is that the politician creates the environment in which ideas thrive. Ideas can come from people who are not politicians. After all, these are the people who are affected and they know where it pinches. They are the ones who will tell you what their problems are and possibly how those problems can be solved. So we need to hold a lot of town hall meetings. But you know what? I'm also afraid that if you call for town hall meeting, people may not come because it is not an integral part of our political culture. So I want to encourage people to come out when they are called so that we can relate as brothers, we can allow ideas to cross-fertilize, and then we can come up with higher and better ideas that really solve the problem. What I see most times where people just drop names of people, drop all kinds of ideas that have no place in modernity. Because if you run politics with a business mindset, which is what I believe in, you will not, how often do we hear that people are quarreling in UBA or First Bank, for example? It's not as if they don't have disagreements there. It's not as if everybody is agreeing, because when everybody's agreeing, it means that somebody somewhere is redundant. But the truth is that people must create that avenue for brothers and sisters to sit down, to disagree, and even after the disagreement, they can now agree, drink, eat together, and then everybody goes home. And then they leave the work for those who are in authority to carry them out. We have a lot of problems that confront us, and most of these problems are not natural disasters. They are human disasters. They are things that people are doing. For example, in River State and in my local government, in fact, right in front of the local government council, people have turned the road into markets. I wish you could come to River State so I can show you. But I believe that maybe before you come, I would have cleared that, because I'm going to do it. Now, when people do such things, the first thing to do is not to start beating them with stick and the koboko. No. You have to talk to them first. You have to make them understand that they can do better. You have to make them understand the danger in what they are doing. You have to make them understand that they are not animals. They are human beings, and that they should respect other road users and other people who have, businesses to do, and that their activities are creating a huge diseconomy. When you do all of that, there are some, I believe, or many, who will listen and move away.
Okay.
The few that will remain, that is why in every leadership there is power. You will not use the power that you have to push them away, so that there will be decency, there will be peace, and there will be tranquility in the place.
All right, just before, as we wind down this conversation, I want us to talk about local governments in proper now, especially considering this new system. But before we do that, I want to ask you, based on this collaboration between the APC and the PDP in Rivers State, what does it mean for the 2027 general election? We know that the APC, according to INEC, won the Rivers State election. Now you have the APC dominating local government elections. You're in the PDP. There's no telling what tomorrow holds for you and what would happen. We also have the FCT minister working for an APC government as a PDP member. What does this all mean for the 2027 general election?
Okay, let me say that in my experience, in the presidency of I think it was Clinton, the Secretary of Defense of the United States was one Cohen, Secretary of Defense. He was not of the Democratic Party. He was a Republican who was appointed at the Democratic government of Bill Clinton. And he served in that very sensitive office, Secretary of Defense. Now, our leader, His Excellency Ezenwoye Sowike, like I told you before, he supported first Southern presidency, arguing that it would be unconscionable for President Buhari to finish and another Northerner will continue, given the gentleman agreement that has been reached, especially in the PDP, which even the APC and other political parties have borrowed, that power should rotate between the North and South. So I don't see any problem in him serving in the government. So he's a Nigerian. And for crying out loud, we always say that we don't encourage winner takes all politics. And then somebody practices the opposite, and we are still quarreling. That's on the one hand. The other one is the issue of what happens going into 2027. Let me tell you, as an individual, I can't speak for River State because I don't have the mandate to so do. As a person, if what relationship we enjoy today with the center, wherein River sons and daughters are enjoying, a space on the table, and where dividends of democracy are trickling down almost on an hourly basis into the state, in a government, in a party that is not, until now that did not have any place in River State. And then when you compare that with what we spent in the past, wherein we gave much and got very little under the PDP. And then, of course, if you look at the gang up against our leader, because whether you like it or not, in politics, I don't know Atiku Abubakar. I don't know Peter Obi, but I know Nyesom Wike. So if it strikes a deal with Peter Obi tomorrow, that's where we go.
Okay.
Because he will be the one to take whatever from Peter Obi and bring to me.
All right, so you wouldn't be...
But currently, he has told everybody that cares to listen that he will work for the president.
So you wouldn't be surprised?
Myself, my family, and all those people who believe in him, because he has never led us astray.
So would you...
We will follow him.
Great.
Where he asks us to go.
So, Doctor, would you be surprised if the APC won the governorship election in Rivers State in 2027?
I won't be surprised.
Okay.
I won't.
All right.
Because right now, if you look at the equation, and that's why I was talking about the PDP going back to the drawing board and strategizing. If we allow things to remain the way they are, and knowing how close the local government chairmen are to the grassroots, I will not be surprised. But what will be important is that we should get a river son or daughter who is capable, who has what it takes to understand the seriousness of the office of governor, and then to come in and govern the state in a manner that serves the people.
All right. Just as we say goodbye now, the new system of local government autonomy following the Supreme Court ruling is already in place. And you had talked about it in the beginning of how important it is now, considering the working relationship that you expect with the governor. What sort of governance should the people of Rivers State expect at the local level with this new system, especially coming from you as a new local government chairman?
Well, what should be important is for the leaders and the people to be on the same page. And it is the business and the responsibility of the leaders, in this case, local government chairmen, to make sure that happens. As a person, I will keep the books open, and I'm going to rule by the books. I'll try to make sure that our people understand how much comes into the local government and from what sources, and how we are deploying those funds to work for them. It is important that our people also understand that if you don't have a firm grip of the people in the local areas, because all politics is local, when elections come, they're likely to work against you. So we expect that the state government or the governor will allow the people in the local governments to do their work. If we follow what the rules say, what the Constitution says, the functions are clearly spelled out. But in the past, because of certain things that happened in the past, a time came when certain functions that were meant for the local government were not handled by the state government and all of that. But I believe that if the people sit down, they can identify those gaps and fill them. And when we fill them, we cannot function seamlessly. We cannot be totally independent of the state government. The same way that the state government cannot be totally independent of the federal government. But we know that there are points of meeting and the points of departure.
Right. Dr. Gift Walu, recently sworn in chairman of Obiakpo local government area. Thank you so much for coming to speak with us on Political Paradigm. And I wish you well in your new assignment.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for giving me your time.
Thank you as well. Well, that's all the time we have on Political Paradigm today. We're supposed to be joined by Dr. Chidi Lloyd, but he cancelled last minute. So we've been speaking with new chairman. Meanwhile, Dr. Chidi Lloyd is the newly sworn-in chairman of Emoha local government area on the platform of the All Progressives Congress. We've been speaking with Dr. Gift Walu, who is the chairman of Obiakpo local government area, both of them in Rivers State. If you'd like to catch this episode and more, please go to YouTube and search Political Paradigm or go to channelstv.com. I'm Terry Kumi. Goodbye.